what is the most authentic, eccentric, and brilliant version of yourself? Because I like I like what's there already. So I can't wait to see what. I think what's there already is incredible. So I'm not clearly sure how it could get that much better. But to me, that's good news.
That's so kind.
Yeah, and the journaling, I love the journaling prompts as well. And so maybe I'll just ask you this, like, what ghost from your subconscious just got handed the microphone, and what's the first truth it wants to scream? And not to put you on the spot, but I think having heard that and with that, what comes up? You know, what's how does it feel relevant? And I'm just guessing by your body language and that it does feel relevant. And I guess that's just I'll just assume that. But tell me how.
Yeah.
You know, how what does it bring up?
Yeah. I mean, like I said earlier, it feels like I've entered my apocalypse era, and it is this unveiling. And when we think of unveiling and revealing, there is a destructive nature to it, but also it's the red velvet curtains being opened on stage, right? Is also an unveiling. And there is something to, like, when I read the poetry piece too, because I'm like, I have a whole book of poems that I just haven't done anything with, and they're just sitting on my computer, and it's like, it's time to just let it go and stop worrying so damn much about what other people think. But I think ultimately this, like, what ghost from your unconscious that has just been given the microphone, it is this, like, I said this the other day to a friend of mine, but in high school, we got an assignment to write manifestos, and mine was on being careful, as in full of care. And a friend of mine, after reading it, we were supposed to read them out loud to the class, and a friend of mine in the class said that mine felt like a slap on the face and a kiss on the cheek. And I think that's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten for my writing, because that's what I want to create for people. I want to shock people back into themselves, because you are so important and so worthy. And how much of ourselves have we forgotten? And I think like I want to like turn the mic up to 11 and just scream at people. Like, it doesn't have to make sense. It just has to be you. And like, do it anyways. And also, truth is a paradox. Like, we're all constantly searching for some truth, and it is the thing that is doing the searching, right? It's like a metal detector being made of metal. Like, Alan Watts says trying to define the self is like trying to bite your own teeth. The thing that is doing the thing is the thing, and that thing is pure magic. And just like wake the fuck up to it. And for me personally, in being in my apocalypse era, it's like all of this, it's like wanting to yell that at myself too. And even this mirrored experience of like a metal detector being metal, me yelling this at all of these people is also like what I most need to hear always. And it really feels like becoming a giant mirror. And isn't that what's at the core of all of us? And isn't that why it needs to be unveiled right now? And it's funny to hear you say the last 7 years were hell. Like, this year has been the hardest year of my life, undoubtedly. And also the most personally true and whole. And I just have this desperation for that to continue, to want to keep discovering new pieces of myself and sewing them together. And through that, hopefully helping other people do that too, and reflecting that back to them. So
I love that. Oh, damn, that's good. That is so good, and that is so powerful. Wow. I love the way you put that, Reese. I think I mean, it just, first of all, it just shines through, like the intent and the desire of the honesty of it. This, I want to discover myself, but I also hope in that discovery that others can see who they are as well. Because I agree with you completely. Like, for me, as it is about helping others, reflecting to others who they really are. That's all I try to do. I mean, in the folks I work with, the coaching I do, no matter what I do, it's always to say, this is who you are, that you're so much more. Like, it's always expansive. It's always you're so much more than that, if only you could see it. Like, these things that you want so much and desire so badly, they are already yours. The only reason you don't have them is because you don't believe them. Like, that's just it. And to want to, and I get exactly where you're coming from with it. I just want to scream through this microphone, because you see people every day not knowing who they are. And of course, we're always going to learn more about who we are. Like, there's no, that's the thing. Like, there's no, and I think that for me personally, that can get frustrating, right? This idea of, like, hey, I just want to pass the course, get the check, and, check mark by my name, and I'm done, right? And I just want to rest. I just want to, I want to climb the mountain, and then I want to take a. The problem is the mountain's never ending, because you get to that, everything's just a base camp. There is no. Maybe someday we experience the mountain. Maybe, maybe when we die, maybe there is no mountain. Maybe it's all a lie. I don't know, but the thing is you can't help but discover more about yourself if you look. Like, but the if you look is the key thing, because I know a lot of people who slapped a coat of varnish on themselves and that was it.
Yeah.
And people younger than me, younger than you, often. But no, I love that truth that you want to scream, because that is so powerful, and you're doing it. That's the other thing. In what you're doing it every day, like, you're living it, Reese. That's your life is with integrity. Whether you're in Italy, whether you're here, whatever you're going through, that integrity is a through line. It's the river that flows through your life, and you can't help. You never get too far from the river, no matter what it feels like. You may feel like you're completely surrounded by woods, but yet if you just listen, you'll hear the river. And you can't help but find it, because it's so loud and it's so strong in your life, and I feel it so energetically and so purely in what you express there. So I love that this is happening for you. And it's going to be a wild ride, right? Buckle up. I mean, without question, and you must be this tall to ride, and don't try to sneak in if you're not, because But I love that, and just so curious to see where it takes you. I think 7 years from now we should listen to this and look back and see, what has changed, and because God, I wish 7 years ago I could have gone. I wish we could have had a podcast 7 years ago,
right?
So we can look and see now that all of this has changed. But I love that, and I think it's such a great question to ask yourself. My journaling prompt, for what it's worth, was if your self-worth had nothing to do with your bank account, who the fuck would you be?
I love that.
I actually don't think it's quite as cool of a question as yours, to be honest with you, but nevertheless very, very prescient and very powerful. And in the same way, my answer isn't much different than yours. Actually, in a very real way. I may have said it differently, but I think we're very aligned on that, which is why obviously we do this sort of thing. It is the only thing. For example, having if I were to have infinite money, or effectively infinite money, the only thing that would change is it would allow me to not have to charge people ever,
right.
Or do honestly, and not have to search for business, but just go about my business doing whatever I wanted to do without having to without having to try to promote what I do or but in a sense, I want people to find me because I want to help people. So is it these are all, none of these are bad. I am doing exactly what I would want to do. I find, No, there's more, would I hire more people to like help me with the executive functioning bullshit? Yeah. Like,
Right.
like there would definitely be like people hurting me, because that's what would be very helpful for me, is I need people creating scaffolds for me. Basically, yeah. Okay, you can go paint that wall, but here, let's build you a nice scaffold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love that. I love that for you. I love this idea of the word that, as I reread what I had said, unleashing is the word that really pops in for you. Is to become, Reese unleashed, essentially. What does Reese unleashed really look like? And maybe Reese unleashed is a little scary for you. I don't know. I don't. I'd be curious to know. I think it's something to explore for you for sure. Because I know Dennis unleashed scares me sometimes, just as as a concept, but that's how you're going to become your true self. Is to become unleashed, and if you think about what is it to leash something, you're trying to control it, you're trying to restrict it, right? Like you're trying to restrict you leash a dog so they don't get away. And so being unleashed is the opposite of that, right? It is about removing that restriction. It is about expanding, because now you're free to be who you really are. And combining that with human design and saying, I'm going to wait for, I am to respond. So I don't need to make these changes happen, right? It's to just notice them as they come along, respond to. And so maybe this is a perfect time to be a generator, to be responding, because the world is going to be crazy. It looks like. And so how we respond, but knowing that could maybe for me, it just says, okay, well, this is what's coming, always better to know what's on the horizon than to be surprised by it. You may not be able to, I don't know, we can plan for it, but we can accept what's going on. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. No, it's just so validating, everything that you're sharing, and makes me grateful for our friendship, and also knowing how aligned we are, and that it's like that is why we have come together to do this, right? It's so like deeply aligned and fulfilling, and I'm just so grateful for this. Yeah. And the image of the river that you offered, and even at the times when you don't think it's there, like if you just get quiet, you'll hear it, is like, whoa, that is something I think we could all bear to keep in mind and remember. And it made me think of something you said earlier too, about like 7 years ago, 8 years ago for you, what it would have been like. And I hope, but it sounds like even in hearing this kind of take on your last 7 years, it's deeply validating too. And that's something that I think is really powerful about astrology, is that it kind of can feel like that really good friend that's like, well, that sounds like that sucks. And it's like, they don't need to fix anything. They don't need to offer any solutions, or they're just there for the ride. And that it's like, that's what astrology can feel like, is just that's what happened. And it's like, yeah, that is what happened. Thank you for seeing that, which is great. But also, everything that you were just saying felt like that for me too, that it was like, yeah, it is all that. And that it's not crazy to unleash, and it is scary. It is scary. Because also it feels like the thing that will destroy everything. But again, I mean, the word that keeps coming into my mind now is apocalypse, an apocalypse era. And it's like, okay, well, if it's going to destroy everything, is that not what I've been asking for? Like, I keep going back to like things at the beginning of the year that I asked for, and manifestations and intentions that I set in my work with my spirituality. And it's like, I've asked for change. I've asked for revolution for myself. I've asked for the ability to help other people. And it's like, well, you asked for it. Very, very much so. And yeah, I guess I'll just end this little diatribe with thanks, gratitude for the strength that doing this together gives me to have the confidence in unleashing, and the reminder that it's not crazy, that it is expansive and whole.
Oh God, I'm so thrilled for you. I don't know what else to say. I am honored to be a part of and witness this with you. And that's all. Not change it, not control it, not just witness it, because it's an honor. It's an honor to do. And when you think about, the very fact that we're sitting here doing this podcast is miraculous in so many different ways. Because there's 100 reasons, 100 different ways why we would have never ever managed to come together. Like the odds of it, and that's why you never know what's. If you just trust what's meant for you is meant for you, and it'll find you. And again, you have such a powerful voice, and I'm just, I'm glad to be a part of it. Like whatever comes up, I'm just happy that I can be here too, and witness it, and hopefully fan the flames. But they're all your flames. There's nothing that needs to be ignited. I can tell you that the ignition is already there. It's lit. It's just now. Take those. The image I get right now as we're talking is if like the space shuttle launches, right? Like the rocket boosters fire, but even as they're firing, nothing's moving yet, and then all of a sudden the arms move or the little things move away. That's where I feel like you're at right now. It's like the engines are going, but you're just now those little arms are moving away, so the space shuttle can take off, and that's just that's the image that comes up for me, and so blast off, baby. That's the good thing. Like you got the engines are all firing and everything looks good, and yeah, so this is a great period of exploration for you. So what an exciting time. And the other thing I wanted to point out, and then we should probably bring us to a close, but is, and this is for everybody, because one of the things I've learned is, we ask for things, but then we question ourselves, we worry, I think, that should I have asked for that? And we have this, I think there's a part, and it's just our brain and looking for threats and this, that, and the other thing. And it's nothing bad or judgmental about it. It is. But we oftentimes don't trust that what we've asked for is really good for us somehow. We worry that it's going to turn around on us, and the whole "be careful what you wish for" sort of thing. Or God's greatest gifts are unanswered prayers. There was a country song like that, as I recall from years ago. But I'm here to say that's we will always get the things that are meant for us. So we don't have to worry. If you can just tell yourself, this is what I've asked for. I'm being bold to ask for this. Maybe it feels scary to ask for this, but the very fact that I'm asking for it means it's good for me. It means it's meant for me. And take away this notion somehow that God's a principal sitting there with a yardstick just ready to crack it over your ass when, at the first opportunity. And I think so many of us live our lives like that.
Yeah.
And the thought experiment that I'll leave you with is something that I actually experienced just a couple of days ago. And it was, what if I'm worthy of what I want just right now, just because of who I am? Like, that there's nothing I need to do to prove it. There's nothing I need to do to earn it. There's nothing I need to do. I am worthy simply because that's who I am. I literally am worthy of all of the good things that I want, that comes across. There are no restrictions. There are no anything. What would it be like to live that way every day, every minute of every day? And sometimes you can get glimpses of it, and that's what's so beautiful. Those few times when it's like, wait, no, I am. But I would encourage people to focus on that. Like, what makes you feel, when you feel worthy, recognize that you are worthy of this. Like, this is meant for you. You wouldn't want it if it wasn't meant for you. Walk fully confidently in that fact, and let your maker, let your maker who loves you, do what they have promised, because you wouldn't want it if it wasn't meant to be yours. And it's exceeding abundantly above whatever you think it is anyway. So let it happen. That's my admonition to you, to me, to everybody, is you are worthy now. Like you're not going to become more worthy. It is impossible for you to be any more worthy, any more capable, any more perfect than you are right now. Now, can you grow? Can you unfold? Can you transform? Yeah, all of those things, of course. But you're still perfect when you transform. A caterpillar is perfect as a caterpillar, but they're also perfect as a butterfly. And their transformation was perfect. One wasn't better than the other. They weren't more perfect before they became a butterfly, and they weren't more perfect after they became a butterfly.